Hey, this is Joe Price. I just wanted to show you how to do the project where we're going to be linking land patent records to the family tree. And I'll just go through some examples, but I'll be using Ancestry and family searches in doing it. So let me just share my screen. So notice here I have the Google Sheet open, and over here I have Ancestry. So you'll need to sign into Ancestry and then just search all collections. And then you'll type in Daniel Cam if you want, and then just right here I just put in Eaton Weld, and then that's it. And then a lot of times the land patent record itself will just show up as one of these records. But what we're really interested in is someone living there in, so here we see him there in 1880, we see him there in 1900, looks like he's still there in 1910. You can see that all of these information is kind of lining up with the same person. And the Latin patent was in 1889, which lines up well with the timing of these other records. So what I'm going to do then is basically open up one of those records, and I'm going to use the corrected name right here. And then over here on the left, I'm in family search right now. I'm going to hit recents, add unconnected person, and I'll just put in the information that I have about Daniel. He's born in Rhode Island. And I'm finding that most of these people are on the tree, partly because, we've been growing the tree for Eaton. See, here he is. Let's take a look. And so notice now that we're in his profile, we can take a look at the sources. And here we see the 1880 census. And you can see here he is living in Will County. See, he's also in 1900, 1910. And one thing we might want to do is just with these unfinished attachments. Okay, so that's an unrelated person. That's fine. Okay, let's miss that, and then let's just take a look at 1910 really quick. The reason I do this is sometimes we'll pick up some extra kids. It looks like they probably just had boarders living in their house. But we're basically done. We know we've kind of found our right person, and we have a profile that's reasonably complete. I'll sometimes look here to see if there's any duplicates we need to merge or any additional records to attach, but otherwise we just copy the URL, drop that in here, and in this case, I'm just going to put a note that it's a. You can see that in most cases, I'm able to find a strong match. So let's try another example. So you can see that some of these can go pretty quick. And this next one's likely to be a bit harder because it's a more common name, but that's fine. So here we have a nice 1910 record. Let's see. Oh, that's probably a son though. So here we have 1910 James Campbell and a lot of times I just like to see how likely it is that we're going to have multiple. So you can see here that we have. So this is one where we have a possibility of maybe multiple people that could be our person. So you can see we have James Russell living in Weld. We have a James Austin living in Weld. Ambrose Campbell living in Weld. So that's going to cause us a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what the person is. And so this one we might punt on and just let someone come back. And this one I'm probably just going to say multiple possible. I think we'll be able to address those harder cases later on, but for now we'll just leave it at that. So let me show one more example. Where sometimes those middle initials can be really helpful. Separate between different is. So we have Frederick C. Carman living there in 1880. Notice the land patent was 1885, so that's pretty good. And you can see him showing up in some of the land records. This case, and again, we're not seeing a lot of conflicting possibilities, except here we have this marriage record. You can just look at that really quick. The Frederick B. Carman. So that one's actually a better index than the other one, though actually the Carman is spelled slightly differently. So but here we go. Okay, so here we have our person that we're going to focus on. Now, one other thing that's nice is that Ancestry will start to show us possible other matches for him. And if we hit this button right here that says make a connection, we can sometimes find him in a public. Let's just copy the information. Let me show you these steps again. Just when you're on a person page on Family Search, you hit Recents, add unconnected person, and then I'm just basically using Control-C, Control-V to bring stuff over. The nice thing about doing the add unconnected person is it's running both a search and it's also helping to look for, it's doing a search, and then if the person's not there, you can add them as an unconnected person. So let's take a look at this. So it looks like this is our match right here. Notice he's actually was buried right in Eaton, which is great. Notice that if for whatever reason a possible match didn't show up, then we'd create a new person and we'd start to add other information that we knew about him and attach some sources. In this case, let's just attach this source. You can kind of see how source linker works. So again, we compare all this information and then we can attach it, and that'll give us some information on where he was buried. And then if we look at the sources here, we can see him in 1850, 80, and then obviously he's not in 1900 because he was deceased. So that's it. So hopefully these instructions make sense about what to do. Really the key is looking for them on an Ancestry so we can have access to a lot of great records, and then checking to see if they're on the family tree, and if they're not, we add them and we start to attach additional records, and we'll just be working our way down this. So thanks for helping with this project. I hope the instructions were helpful, though feel free to create your own instructions as you guys work on this as a group. But yeah, we're excited to be able to show what's possible in terms of linking these land records, which have very little information, to the family tree so that we can get a whole bunch more information about these individuals.